Well, that's it. My last customer forever. I've been mechanicking since I was old enough to be able to pick up a wrench. And now, I can retire early. Ha! Take that, Scotty Kilmer. That was my last customer. Since everything I own is paid for, I have no need of money. So I told them to surprise me with the payment and to give me whatever they want in exchange for my services. Well, let's see what it is they gave me. Wow. This is a fairly large box. Well, I wonder what could be in here. What in the world? It looks like a bunch of old Nintendo game systems. It's a Super Nintendo. A Game Boy Advance? I've not played one of these since I was a kid. The original Game Boy. Well, that's cool. A Game Gear Sega. I've never even owned one of these ever. But that's cool. I'm not seeing any games with anything though. A Nintendo Entertainment System. Now I used to have one of these. Mine broke. I wonder if this one works. Looks like it's got a controller. Power cord and everything is in here. Hey, wait. There's a note. Dear mechanic, now that you have worked so hard to retire early, you must now work even harder in doing the impossible. Impossible. But don't worry, what is impossible for man is made possible with God. This is your impossible task. Be a mechanic, well, that I am, that doesn't swear. Well, I haven't swore since I became a believer in God. Review old NES games. Well, that would explain all of the game systems. And teach Bible truths all at the same time. You must put church, mechanics, and video games together. Signed, a fellow mechanic and Nintendo game nerd. No. No way. I won't play these old games again. I gave up playing video games when I was a kid. The one game humiliated me. It destroyed me. How could something so colorful, so cool, be so cruel and punishing? I never could beat it. It was Zelda 2 on the NES. You know what? This is my fault. My one guilty pleasure that I have. I've been watching way too many angry video game nerd videos.
Hello, mechanic.
What was that? It's a game genie. I thought the game genie was a myth, a demon, as so many of them walk this earth with us unseen. But angels can also come in many different forms, just like when Balaam's donkey opened its mouth to speak in Numbers chapter 22.
As you just read, mechanic, you are tasked with a great responsibility. Now that you are retired from mechanicking at such a young age, from this moment you are now known as gaming mechanic. I send you out to be the light to other mechanics, gamers, religious and secular alike, by providing wholesome game reviews, with uplifting messages at the end of each review and showing the game mechanics in each game. Show them they can be beaten honestly. There are plenty of unwholesome entertainment in the world, and we need more goodness, holiness, pure, innocent, clean fun.
but I can't do it. I just can't do it. I despise these old games. They're frustrating. They're unrealistically hard. They cheat. There's no quality control. They're like these crazy engineers who design these modern-day convoluted car monstrosities.
You have learned much, mechanic, but a Christian never stops learning and growing. You will do this to be just like the humble mechanic. The whole world does not revolve around you.
That's it. No, I'm done with this. This is crazy.
Oh, and game mechanic.
What? You wait until I walk away and then you start talking again. I hate it whenever movies and TV shows do that.
You will be sealed in this garage until you finish your quest.
No! You know, these old games are what made me start swearing and cursing and becoming embittered toward the world in the first place. Back when I was a teenager, back before I quit them for good. I repented and took the life of Christ as my own. They're so unreasonably hard. It's why I started my own auto repair business in the first place, so I can fix broken things. These old games, there's no fixing them. They're useless. They're like the old late 2000 Chevy Equinoxes and Traversas, garbage right out of the box, or right off the assembly line, I should say. With all their timing chain issues and internal engine and transmission mechanical failures, burning oil, you have to drop the whole engine down just to replace the front timing cover gasket, which will leak again 3 months later after you replace it. It's just an all-around poor design. These engineers, they're no better than the early day game developers. Poor quality control, poor game design, poor game mechanics. They wouldn't know what fun is if it jumped up and bit them in the aft end. These games, they're not fun. They're punishing.
Be that as it may, you will go out and do what is commanded of all Christians in the Lord Jesus' great commission to bring the gospel to all the ends of the earth, to be salt in the earth, to uplift the name of Christ and His word, His commandments, and do it joyfully. In all these things give Him praise and honor. Talk about these things, and let them always be on your mind and heart. You are to do this by playing these old games, and giving praise where praise is due, condemnation where condemnation is due. These games will teach you something you need to learn. Patience.
There's not even any games in that box. How am I supposed to review games without any games?
You will find your first game doing what you do best.
What? Why can't you just tell me exactly where the games are? Hey! Don't go! Well, that's as cryptic as trying to figure out how to install a rear axle seal on a 2012 Chevy Equinox. Seriously, the service manual doesn't give you any instructions at all. No detailed graphic, no installation tool, no information on the correct orientation of the seal. Just install the seal into the housing. It's gone. It's not here. Honestly, I don't remember it being here in the first place. The Game Genie. I think I'm working too hard. Not getting enough sleep. You'll find your first game doing what you do best. I think I need to rest. Yeah, I need to rest. Oh man, what time is it? 2 o'clock in the morning. What was it? What was it that Game Genie said? Something about finding your first game, doing what you do best. It's no use. Can't sleep. Door's locked. Maybe it wasn't a dream. Can't get out. I'm stuck in here, sealed in this garage, just like he said. Oh man. Well, I gotta do something to keep my mind off all this. Bring me back to a little bit of sanity. Something that I know how to do, and I know how to do it really good. This 2008 Chevy Suburban needs spark plugs. 100,000 miles, well, actually 200,000 miles. Every 100,000 miles you should replace your spark plugs with titanium tipped spark plugs because they last 100,000 miles. Let's get started on this here. Number 1 cylinder. What was that? Something just fell. Nope. I've got my spark plug socket, my 10mm, which is always a socket that you end up losing all the time. Nope, that's still here. What was it? What is this? What the? It's Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link. This is the game. This is the one that destroyed me and humiliated me. It's just like I was telling Game Genie. What is this, some kind of sick trick? Can you hear me, Game Genie? I just said how much this game humiliated me. How hard and ridiculously difficult it was to play and beat. Well, I never beat it. As a kid, these games, how were you able to beat them as a kid? I couldn't even beat it now, probably. I get it. You'll find your first game doing what you do best. I get it. You hear me? I get it. Oh, man. Well, I guess we found our first game. This is the one that we have to play. It's all coming together. Alright, let's get something to eat before we begin. I'm starving. Since I'm stuck in here now, it's a good thing I have all these old ramen noodles left over from my college days to eat. That's gonna get annoying fast. Okay, which flavor should I get here? Chicken, beef, cheddar cheese, shrimp, roast chicken. Who am I kidding? It's all just shredded cardboard with a little bit of flavoring sprinkled in anyway. Let's go with the shrimp. Well, it's a good thing I had a sink in here, so I was able to get some water in an old pot I found in a box of old pots and pans we had in here. I got my ramen noodles, I got my fork. So, how do you boil water in a shop with no microwave, no stove? You use your torch. This is my torch that I use to loosen up rusty bolts that are seized on. It works really well. All you gotta do is put a little bit of heat to a bolt and it'll come right off, usually. Alright, let's fire this sucker up. And we'll heat up our water. This will only take a little while. Yep. This will take a while. Well, now that we have our game, let's go ahead and hook this thing up. Got the controller. And power cord. And audio-video connections. Okay, we've got the game Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link. Another journey of ultimate challenge in the fantasy world of Hyrule. Sounds exciting. Though I know all too well from what I remember that it was very punishing, very difficult. Not something that a 8-year-old, 10-year-old me enjoyed. You know what? Looking at this game cartridge, the gold shell casing, I think this is one of the first games at the NES that Nintendo had like this. It's just so neat. I would actually like to have the box. I don't have the original box with the title work and the title art on it. It's like having an old car where if it still has the original sticker for the windshield that has like the original price and the fuel mileage and the EPA rating and all that good stuff, it just adds a little extra layer of nostalgic value to it. Same way for video games when you have the box too. And we all know that normally when you buy a used car you don't get that because that's the first thing everybody throws away. Well, back in the day, that's the first thing a lot of people throw away is the packaging. But there's a lot that goes into the artwork, the title art, the information in the instruction manual. It's all really cool stuff. Alright, I'm just delaying the inevitable here. Let's blow on it like that, like we always had to do. Alright, it's working. First try too. Listen to that music. What? Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link. It brings back a lot of nostalgic value for me. It's working. First try too. Look at this. The graphics, the music. It all brings back a lot of nostalgia to me. Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link. You know, given the limitations and the hardware and the memory that was available to them on the NES and the size of the cartridges, the memory that they had, considering what they were able to do with the music, they just had little beeps and boops. Just simple notes. And they were able to take that and make this soundtrack. Zelda 1 had a great soundtrack as well, and I like Zelda 2. I've always liked Zelda's music and themes. And the storyline. You know, this Nintendo Entertainment System in this game is like 1985, 1986. It's like taking an old, getting this working is like taking an old 1985 Buick or Chevy Cavalier, some old piece of junk, rusty, wheel bearings falling off, check engine lights on, makes a lot of noise, rattles going down the road, has leaks everywhere, everything leaks. And it's like taking that and fixing it up like mint again, and getting it to work. Getting it going down the road again, perfect, just like new. It's almost like what this feels like to me right now. Getting this thing going brings me back in time. Never thought I'd be doing this again, but that's my quest now. My goal. Review games, old games, Nintendo, Super Nintendo, whatever I'm stuck with here now. I am the gaming mechanic. The gaming mechanic. Alright. Let's pick up the controller and get right into it. Well, that was weird. feel a surge of power coming through me all of a sudden. Let's play Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link.